Hey, I just wanted to show you guys real quick how I set up this 24-inch LED on my four-wheeler. Show you real quick how I mounted it to the four-wheeler and then how I ran the wiring. It's pretty simple. It'd be pretty easy to figure this out on your own, but if you haven't done anything like this before, this could help. So as far as mounting the light, it came with its own mounting brackets, came with its own wiring, switch, you know, the whole gamut. I mean, anymore, if you buy one of these new, it pretty much comes with everything you need. So I used the rubber boot or gasket, whatever you would call that goes underneath the light bracket. So I did use that on top of this plastic, and then to keep it sturdy, and the wiring I ran right through here, you know, nothing major there, pretty simple. I wanted to try to keep it simple. So this shroud is just covering up the radiator, the snorkels, and the fans. So under here, I ran the bolt through. I used a pair of large fender washers. They're about 1.5 inches in diameter, and a lock nut. Did that on both sides, and that's how I mounted the light bar down. Now the wiring, I put a plug right here, or you know, 2 plugs for the 2 wires, and that is just so that I could unplug those if I needed to take this shroud off to work on something. I can unplug that real quick. And then I ran my wiring down right through here where the wiring comes out for this fan on the left side, and I just followed that wiring, and all it does is it runs down below the radiator and everything, and it comes up about in the area of the steering column. And what I did is I just ran it right. I took this cover off, which I didn't want to do because it takes a few minutes to take it off, but I ran it underneath this cover, following some of the factory wiring. And these are the 2 cables that are part of that light system that it came with. So I ran the cables along the factory wiring, and then back here is the power block. That's probably not the technical term, but it's what I call it. And it's just a fused block where all of the power equipment on the four-wheeler connects to. This is where the connections are at for the winch and that type of thing. So I think it's, you know, auxiliary type of things. But anyway, it was pretty simple. I just connected the ground to the ground, power to the power, and then I ran my switch leg, which is this one that's got the white sleeve. It's a red wire, but it's got a white sleeve. I ran it to the power as well, and that powers the switch. So pretty simple, just 2 hookups, you know, 3 wires, 2 hookups, no big deal. And then I took the rest of my wiring, coiled it up right here, and zip tied it to keep that all in place. The fuse block is right here, or the fuse, inline fuse is right here. So, and then I followed that back up and then came out right here, and this is the wire that comes up to my switch. And this is the switch that came with it. Green on, red off. And that stays on all the time, but it's an LED, so it doesn't burn any juice. This switch has adhesive backing to it, and all I did, if you can see that, it's actually, I used the adhesive against the handlebar, but honestly, just wedging it between the clamp right here and my switch, you know, the control box over here, it's kind of wedged in between those, and then adhesive stuck to the handlebar, and that little booger's in there just as tight as it can be. I mean, you'd have to try pretty hard to get it out. And I thought, you know, if that doesn't work, I'll put a little bit of clear silicone on the back of it to kind of glue it to the handlebar, but didn't need to. It's great just the way it is. That's an outdoor switch, so it can get wet. You know, I don't have to worry about washing this thing or being out in the rain, deep water, whatever. It doesn't matter because it's an outdoor switch. So anyway, that is how I hooked up my 24-inch LED bar. It'd be the same for any type of LED lights that you want to put on your wheeler, but that's how I did mine. And I'll get this shroud put back on here, get it all put back together, but that's probably the simplest way that I know of to do this without running into the battery. And the battery's kind of a pain to get to on this thing. It's actually in the front, and it's right up in there. So to connect anything to the battery, directly to the battery, would be a pain. And I like running it to that relay in the back, because then you have the relay in the line and you're not just powering it directly to the battery in case something gets cooked. So anyway, hope that helps you guys out if you're going to hook up some auxiliary lights, and thanks for watching.